Welcome to EO's Defense Testing with Omnikai. Alright guys, so we're going to hop into it. We're basically going to go through all the defenses in EO. Whoever's set is about to get blasted. Nah, I'm playing. But we're going to test your guys' defense, and then these are the times that you can make changes, or you can think of a different strategy to implement. So these aren't finalized defenses. This is just whatever is set, but I do like it because we can test like guard ranges. We can test the archers and everything like that because people are positioned in weird places. And if you're watching this at home, guess what, guys? If you guys have a setup that's similar to this or using a unit that might be causing you an issue, you can go ahead and look at it and be like, that's a good idea. Or, nah, I don't know what I'm talking about. But, so Bon Jovi, he's first up. He's in here with a Nightmare comp. That's what it looks like. Positioning-wise, it does look set up well. However, there are a couple of issues. Because the only issue really is going to be Elowen. Because this team is okay positioning wise, it's fine. Because this is how I set up my team in my video earlier this week about me setting up my defenses. But Elowen's going to be his main reason for losing here because Sun Wukong doesn't get any unyielding after that first ult. Watch this. Boom. Mages takes down Sun Wukong before he can get his ult off. And then Elowen doesn't provide any unyielding. And that's why you do want to, look into your healers because Lily and Carnelian, they do provide that unyielding and that's a good fit in Nightmare comps. So we'll go ahead and speed this up a little bit. But basically, once we get rid of Sun Wukong in this lineup, it's kind of easy peasy. Torador, we can either kill him or we could just run through dogs and distract Ivar with flying units. All right, so positioning wise, that was a good team. I do like the positioning, but it's just the units that you bring with you into GVG, right? So now next we're going to test out Ajax, right? His positioning right there. We'll use Garnet Guards and then we'll use a Swarm team. So we'll see how this does. Let's see, who is it? Ivar, right? So Ivar, single target unit. He is actually really good, really strong, but he's not the Lord in this situation, right? So he's losing a lot of that power also. Garnet Guards, we'll go ahead and place him out. And yes, Ajax does get a pop at him, but boom. Ajax either needs more HP because Elowen just can't fully heal him or she doesn't provide that unyielding, right? So he's kind of one-shotted, right? So those are the issues that I see with this team. We'll go ahead and speed it up because after this, I can really just build up a swarm. Ivar, he can't kill off enough of the enemies and then we'll just run by, right? You lost out on all your magic and AoE damage with Ajax being taken out. And honestly, it's no fault of yours. It's the map, man. The maps are kind of weird, but that's our problem to figure out. Moonton gave us the map. We need to play with it. All right, we'll take a look at his second team. Looks like it's going to be a Northerner / something comp. Because position-wise, it does look okay. Position-wise, it's fine, but you need different units. Like I was saying, the healer, you need somebody with unyielding. I know you have Lily. Throw Lily in one of your teams. At least make one good team, Bon Jovi. Come on, man. Right? So, same issue. Look, we have Boreas. He's just sitting out there. We'll go ahead and throw our Guardian Guards out. Easy snipe. Leia, she's the Lord, but you should probably go ahead and use a Northerner Lord. If you have one, if you don't, go ahead and use a Sode. Move Brokir up one, put a Sode in the middle, and then swap out Vortex, right? At least you have a Northerner comp. That works a little better, and you can just focus on stalling if you're going to use a Northerner comp, because I would probably take out Hex too. Hex, guys, you're using Hex unless he's like A5 and you have his max exclusive. I don't think he's worth using in GVG. Single target, he's slow, he just can't do it, right? But you have to use what you got, right? So if that's the team that you have and those are your best units, go for it. So we're going to go ahead and look at the next person that we have in here. It's going to be Akon 5000. Let's go ahead and look at your teams, buddy. All right, so right off the bat, I see Light Lock, bro. Oh my gosh. All right, so anyways, you're probably just not interested in GVG too much, or you just don't really understand it too well. So 9 times out of 10, you probably have better units than Lightlock as a healer. But then again, maybe not. Oh, level 51. So that's something to point out, right? So this might be the best team that he can make. However, I would work on your positionings a little bit, but I don't think it's going to matter because of the way our guild is set up, right? We're going to be fighting stronger opponents. It doesn't matter at this point. Just keep grinding it out. Keep working. But in this position, mages will destroy everything that you have. Even if someone weaker or lower level is going against you, they'll send out mages and wipe your whole team. The positioning is just too clunky together. And that's an issue that can be fixed by swapping a healer. So if you have Lily, go ahead and swap your healer in. And that way you at least get some extra protection and an extra lease on life per se, right? So for your second team, we'll go ahead, we'll swap things up, but we're going to test the archer range, right? Since he has Midan. Your healer being in that spot, unless they're built with a lot of HP to survive a hit, it's going to be hard to keep him alive. Because I thought about using that spot too, but archers, snipe. But your tank also would have to be moved up in order to avoid the archer snipe. But Garnet Guards would still hit that tile and we'll just walk on through, right? So that's one thing to keep in mind. That healer up there is going to have to be built with massive HP to survive some kind of hit, right? With Garnet Guards or archers. It's hard to recommend what you have for your team without looking at your full rosters. So we'd have to just discuss that like in Discord or something, right? All right, so Big Red, I believe he's going to be next in the Stronghold 1. He's going to be our last one. We're going to take a look at the keeps now, right? That's interesting. Something a little different. So right off the bat, looks like a Northerner comp, but you're going to be using Ingrid way down the middle, right? So all on the left side. My issue is what can Garnet Guards and what can archers hit before they get to Brokir. It does look like a lot of space, but we'll go ahead and test that out right now, right? So this position is okay. I just think you're going to have an unyielding healer like Lily, Carnelian, or tanks that have unyielding. You're going to have something because it looks like you're really exposed out here, but we are going to test it. Archers, they do go ahead and hit Brokir. They don't have any range, so that's useful to know, right? As the archers got close, they started picking at Vortex. And Garnet Guards, I believe they got a shot out at Maul, and they obviously took out all the platform units over there, like Ajax and Vortex. So, I only dropped one of the Garnet Guards and one of the mages because I thought that they would probably just one-shot them because I don't know if they're equipped, right? My units are equipped. They do have BP on. So we'll go ahead, we'll rerun it. We're going to drop 2, and we're going to see which ones it hit first. The first time that we did it, we dropped the archers first, and they took a crack shot at Vortex, right? So now we'll go ahead, we'll drop double Garnet Guards, and we'll see who they hit first. Who are they going to target? It might be Vortex since the archers hit Vortex first, but we'll see if it hits Maul first. That way, if you place a unit down there, nope, it looks like Vortex, and then Garnet Guards go to Maul once, and then goes to freaking Ajax. Okay, so like the targeting is kind of weird. I don't know how maybe because they moved forward, right? But anyways, this is an easy clap. Once we get rid of that, then we'll just swarm and go through, right? So in this position, I would use that top platform actually. Oh, I just saw a video, Corey. So I just saw his Watchers come, and he was using Ingrid in this tile right here, facing down, placing a tank here, and then you can have people line up, right? So I would try that, experiment with it, and if you have any questions, let me know, right? We'll figure it out, man. Big Red, because you got some sleepers in here. You're just gonna, your positioning. It's really just your positioning. So we'll go ahead and take a look at your Nightmare team. Hex, man, y'all and these hexes, they love them. But anywho, so right off the bat, we can go ahead and send out mages. Mages are gonna destroy this team if they can reach, who is that, Silas? So if they reach Silas, they're just going to destroy Silas and Eloin right here coming up. Bam. Now it's just an easy peasy walkthrough. And I only sent one of the mages out. So if I had double mages, easy clap, it would just walk on through, right? And that'd be your healer. Healer's already gone. Then after this, it's really either just take out, just run through with dogs, really, at this point, right? Holy crap. Look. Archers sniped that last spot right there. So now you have to build your fighter with HP, or you're going to have to put your healer back there, right? So that's an interesting discovery too. Archers will snipe that last position next to the crystal. So we'll test it again. Since we already established everybody a little too close together and the positioning's off, you can take this whole team out with mages for the most part, double mages. So we'll go ahead and drop double archers, and we'll see if we can take out Wukong. Boom, 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 boom. No, they only get 2 shots, right? So it should be fine as long as you have some HP on your fighter. But then again, archers will just come around here for this team lineup and then just wreck everybody else, right? So back to the drawing board, right? So you will be able to make a team in the back, but you're just going to have to be careful of your positioning. These are good insights that we're finding. All right, on to stronghold number 2. Let's see how many people we have in here. 3 out of 6 already. White Raven. So it is your time, my man. Let's go level 61. So I just have to keep that in mind when I'm doing testing and see like kind of where they are in their development. But his account is stacked. Look at these Legos, man. Damn. However, even though you have some really good Legos, the positioning in this lineup is too clunky together. This team is going to get wiped. We can already tell. Not the same thing for this team, though. However, I would move Soul Cadence back one tile if you're going to run it this way. That way he's definitely out of harm's way, because right there he will get sniped. That's a little bit of a better lineup. We are going to go ahead and test this one because it looks viable. However, remember, even though you guys don't have you can't just use your craziest, most powerful Legos that you have to have some kind of team building built into it also, right, guys? Now, I'm not saying these units can't work in GVG. However, what I can tell right away is that I can just fly right over this whole team for the most part. The only thing that you have to hit air is going to be Soul Cadence, but he's single target, and Zilla2 is also single target, right? So there's no AoE, and there's not enough damage coming in to take out all my air units if I launch them in the correct way, right? Because first we'll just go ahead and bait everybody's ult with the shielder, and then we'll go in with the flying units, and then we'll just kind of fly right over, right? So even though if I would have spaced out my flying units apart, I could have baited out Zilla2's ult, or I could have just threw in the legendary flyer, go through, bait out Zilla2's ult, and then send in the little flyers, and they'll fly right over if you bait out Soul Cadence's ult and Zilla2's ult, right? So that's the only thing about that team. It is kind of easy to get by. Flyers can just fly right over it. So my recommendations for this team: move Soul Cadence back. You can actually leave Regulus where he's at and then move Zilla2 back in that nick and cranny above Aelin, right? So that way at least Zilla2's popping her ult and she's starting to do some damage as enemies are starting to line up in front. That's my recommendation for that team if you're going to use it. Moving on to the XZ. I believe he was in the second stronghold also. So right off the bat, Northern team. I do like the way you have set up your Northern team because I've seen your team last season, right? This is a huge improvement, and I think it's going to do pretty well. Given the Northerners, they're not the best in GVG, but if you have a lot of Northerners, you might as well go ahead and use it. My only thing is, if you have Fenris, the one that just came out, the new unit, go ahead and replace Maul, throw in Fenris, and then this team, I guess it might just be one of the best teams you can do with Northerners. Can't think of too many more options that you can do, but it looks good, and if it looks good, and there's no need to test it if it looks good. If it looks wonky, then I'll test it, and I'll, let you know. I'm fine with it because there's not many more options that I can give you to improve on it. Same thing with this team. It looks good. It's set up how I would probably set it up. I know you want to keep Vierna up in there in Lily's healing range, but go ahead and move her back. I don't think Garnet guards can hit that tile. So those are my suggestions for your team. Your platform units, move them back one tile, and you should be basically good to go. Swap out Vierna. Put somebody else in there that can do a little bit more damage. I get the execute skill, but you know what? Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't even have her. I do not have her at all, and I can't even judge her, right? So maybe she's really good at GVG. I haven't seen her around, though, so I recommend that you swap her out. If my memory serves me correct, I believe that Edgy Saint, you're next. Edgy Saint, he does have some sleepers. He has really good teams. He has really good units. They are geared. So we go ahead and we'll put our gear on and we'll try him out. So he is in the keep. Keeps are going to be tough. They're going to be tough this season, y'all, right? So just, hey, take your beatings, and we appreciate you for manning the keeps. Because I don't want to do it at all. Because it's not set up for Ingrid. And this map is kind of designed to nerf Ingrid. Anyways, so my main issue, Edgy Saint, is Thailand. Thailand is just in a position that he can't do anything. Cyrus blocks everybody. Nyx, she can hit only right in front of Cyrus. So that's my other concern. There's no other damage to the enemies when they come up this line. Boreas is in a position that he can't even hit in front of Silas. So once my tank gets up here, what I'm assuming is that Boreas won't even attack. And Nyx is going to be the only source of damage that you're going to have provided. Thailand just won't do anything. Maybe use a different fighter so that way you can at least have something going on. And Boreas, I know it's tough, but I don't know. Maybe use two different fighters. Or you're going to have to swap Boreas with Lily and then have another long-range platform unit to hit in front of Cyrus. Because you just don't have enough damage going on. Nyx can't do it all by herself. That's my only thing, right? However, I'm not giving suggestions. I'm not giving recommendations on what I would do with your plats or your units. Not in this video, but I will have a separate video that I will do some research and I'll go through all the top type of units that you can place, all the type of meta teams that's going on with different lords, different factions, and then I'll post that and be like, oh, these are the top teams in GVG. I'll do that like in maybe like a week or two. But anyways, so we're gonna test it out again. But this time I'm gonna use mages, archers, garnet guards, long range demon soldiers to show you that Boreas also is not in a good position, because I think once mages or archers get down to that tile in front of Boreas, he's just going to get sniped out. I think it's just going to be gone. And then your only source of damage will be Nyx, and Nyx is done. She can't do it all by herself, like I said earlier. And then you just send like either axes, you send Maul, you send anyone, and then eventually your tank will die. That's what I'm saying. So I only did like the replay to show you that archers and mages, they'll just take that Boreas right out of there, right? And that would be half your team gone, at least half your DPS damage. So if you're going to be in a keep, what I recommend, have Lily for that unyielding facing right, covering your ground units, right? So if Garner Guards come across, they'll come through, try to attack Sun Wukong, and then they might get a pop on Ajax, and then they'll probably switch and lock on to Sun Wukong or your tank, right? Iovar, Silas, or whoever is down here in that Ajax spot, free reign. Find some HP in the substats, and he should be good to survive those hits. Because with like a fighter there, they'll get one shot off for the most part. And honestly, if you put somebody next to Lily, since that's the first targeting spot that archers hit when they first come out, another platform unit with some HP could be right there, right? So you would have 1, 2, 3. You could actually set up your whole defense right there. Honestly, I think you could. I think there's a way to make that work, right? You know, I'm just saying you could put another tank where Sun Wukong is, or your fighter. I don't know, man. But I'm just saying that's something you can play with, right? An idea somewhere. Anyway, so Edgy Saint, let's take a look at your second team. This team, I don't know if it's a bait team or if you're just not set up right, but obviously everything here is susceptible to archers, garnet guards. They can just come on through and wipe it out, right? So I'm just going to assume, Edgy, I know you know what you're doing. So this is just a team you threw out here, and it's just not set up correctly. Positions are all wonky. Everything's out of order. There's no protection. Good to go. We'll go through and wipe it out. All right, Stronghold 3. We have Sunburn, Skullbreak, and Zat, our leader. Miss Zat, the queen. We will be getting to you real soon. But Serban is up first. Serban 647. Let's see. Infernals. And a Nightmare comp. Ooh, Infernals is pretty interesting. So Infernals have been getting like new units, right? So I don't see any new units in that Infernal team. But first we'll go ahead and we'll test out his Nightmare comp, right? First off, it is positioned fine. It does look well. Maybe I would put Torador up one just in case, because, well, let's go ahead and test. So we'll drop Garnet Guards and see if they'll hit Ajax before they get to Torador. If they don't hit Ajax before they hit Torador, then it's fine. I do think that spot is safe, and they have not switched on to Ajax yet. So Ajax spot is safe as long as there is a tank up front where Abomination is, as long as there's somebody in front of Abomination. I think if there's a defender right in front of Abomination, then I think Garnet Guards will go ahead and target Ajax. So here's our last Garnet Guard coming up, and they did not hit Ajax at all. I sent the dogs in order to get like in front of Torador to see if Garnet Guards would hit Ajax. They did not. So, but what did they do? They hit Hotset, right? So they will target Hotset, but that square that Ajax is on it looks like it's always safe, right? So that's a good thing to know. So honestly, positioning-wise, it's not bad for your Nightmare comp. But tweak the positioning just a little bit. Maybe move Torador up and play with it a little bit. Because you can also probably move Abomination over to the middle, just up one. That might help just a bit. But that's something that we'll try to figure out. So Anyways, on to your next team. This is going to be the Inferno team. Infernals, it's a weird comp, right? You don't really see too many Infernals, but there's also not too many new Infernals on this comp. Lord Phineas is here. Xena, for the most part. Those are the only two new Infernals that you have. And Xena also, I don't think she's going to be great in GVG. She's reliant on being redeployed, right? So you can't really redeploy units in GVG. So I went ahead and sent out the Shielder to bait everybody's ult. And then we went and sent the Archers and then Guard Guards to see who is targeted. So my main concern, Titus is pushed back further than normal than any normal tank. There's nobody right up front. So I do think that maybe, what's his face? Yeah, he did get hit. Soul Cadence. Ooh, yes, Soul Cadence. He got hit by Garnet Guards. So if I double drop Garnet Guards, right? So we'll go ahead and restart. We'll go ahead and send out the Shielder. I don't know his name exactly. Sorry, y'all. But we went and sent out the Shielder. He's going to bait everybody's ults just to bait them out. And then we'll double drop Garnet Guards. So what do we notice? So if you're in here, if your guard isn't positioned where the shielder is right now or up more, Garnet Guards will go ahead and pop that furthest tile. So that tile isn't always safe. It's not always safe if there's no guard in front or if there's no tank in front or a fighter or somebody else has to be kind of up. If they're pushed back where Titus is, now they're vulnerable. So that's good information to know. And also, my Garnet Guards are in my third position. So if I swap to the first position, then I 9 times out of 10 take out Soul Cadence. One shot pop. So let's see. Skull Break, you are next. Let's go in here, get the Skull Break. So we look like we have a Nightmare and a Northerner team up here. So Skull Break right off the bat. I guess you can leave your ground units there, but there's just no coverage, right? So I don't even know if I want to test it because you already know it's not right, right? Once you laid them down, you were just like, I don't care. But you can just fly over this whole team for the most part. If you think this is actually a really good idea, then that's okay. That's fine. But in GVG, if you don't have enough platform units, you don't have anything to handle air units, then this is exactly what is going to happen. Someone's going to send just 3 flyers and they're just going to fly right over you, right? So this is where you can just come in, you can take a look. Maybe you're like, something's not right, right? So now we can go in, we can put some more platform units down, we can put something down to cover the air units, and at least that's a start. So we'll start from there. So your next team, this is actually a better team than the first team if we're going to be using Northerners, and it's not bad, but you do have the Garnet Guard situation with Maul. If I send down Garnet Guards, they will pop Maul. If you're just using Midan has the healer and you're not facing her up right to cover Maul, which I don't think you are. She does look like she's facing right. Yes, she is. So she's not going to cover Maul at all. Garnet Guards are going to come down, pop Maul, and then you would just bait Valkyrie's ult and then just fly over him. Because there's nothing else to handle ground units once Maul is gone. So that's all I'm saying. Just think about it a little bit more. If you need any suggestion, I'll just give you a free team and you just throw whatever down. Just send me a DM. I don't care, man. Skull Break, put something up. Please help us out. Yay! That's all I'm saying, man. Because right now you're just like, free wins. Free wins. That's what it is. You watch my video. We don't give away nothing for free, man. And you just gave it away. Look at that, man. That's all I'm saying. But, hey, you know what? Play the game how you want to play. Have fun. Do what you got to do. Do what you want to do, man. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the proud, the magnificent Zat. All right, Zat, let's do it. What we got? We got a Watcher comp, and it looks like a Piercer comp. Right, so first off, let's go ahead and take a look at the Watchers comp. So what I was saying, you have a good amount of units, Zat, right? So Lily's kind of way out of position. I could just throw a Garnet Guard down or an Archer, and I think they will just pop Lily. Lily's gone. Once your healer's gone, you have no more healing for any other ground unit. You can use range units or you can use any type of DPS demon soldiers, and then they'll eventually kill. You can either use like bombs or whatever else, but it doesn't matter. Once your healer's gone, then your team is gone, Zat. But I don't know if this is your finalized team either. However, Ingrid, remember what I was saying at the beginning of the video? I'll also post up a image, what I was talking about with Corey. Move Ingrid over all the way to that
far tile over in front of the crystal, I believe, and then place your either Brocare or Regulus down in front, and then that would probably be the best position for Ingrid in the keeps. And then we could bid around it somewhere there. But in this position right here, I'm just sending out anything right now. Really, I'm just showing you that whatever you send, it doesn't really matter, because once we kill Lily right here with the archers, then everything else is kind of free game. I can send out bombs. I can send out whatever really. And then we'll eventually just run through all of your units. Look, you only have Eris left. I can use double dogs. I can use archers. I can use whatever. You have no healer. That's the issue with this setup that you have. But like I was saying, hey, DM me in Discord. We'll figure this shit out, man. Hey, like I was saying, Corey came through. He has a good setup for keeps for Ingrid squads. Or you can use the setup that I was recommending, where everything's kind of positioned to where you have Lily facing your ground units, Ingrid up top, and then another platform unit at the bottom. So that way you have that that chokehold that I showed in the image before. So that's an option also, or you can go ahead and use Corey's option. But either way, I think those are going to be the two best options for Essential Keep. If you're going to run Ingrid or a Watcher comp or anything that requires you to use a huge amount of range like Ingrid's or Dahlia's, actually, right? So, anyways, let's move on to your second team, your Piercer team. And honestly, you and that Hex, man, everybody loves them Hexes. I'm just saying. But anyways, it looks fine just because everybody can provide enough damage. Hex with the Piercer team can hit in front of Brocare, so can Silas. You do have Carnelian for your heals, but you might want, if you have Constance to go behind Brocare, maybe that might be a better bet. And then move Constance back like closer to Silas if you can.
For the extra healing and the inspiration to provide more damage, because you only have single target damage really. But I also, but then you would lose your Piercer comp, right? Because the Lord would be gone.
But I've noticed that only Carnelian is more of a time bomb, right? So it's more of, yeah, kill, and then eventually you die or you get ran through with just Carnelian. And look, a swarm team, Silas, single target, Hex, single target. It's not enough damage to take out a swarm. Please listen to me. Remove Hex.
Do you have a
Or you're going to have more damage somewhere. Yeah, Carnelian's fine. If you're just soloing, if you're just going to solo use Carnelian as your healer, you're going to have a massive amount of damage output because you need to take out the enemies fast enough before Carnelian's unyielding goes off and they kill everybody and the time bomb explodes, right? So that's the thing about Carnelian. So Zach, what I was saying, everybody has an Ingrid comp. If you want to use Ingrid in Essential Keep, I'll show you how mine is set up. So if I was going to use Ingrid in Essential Keep, this is how I would set it up. Ingrid right here blasts everybody in that front lane. Not broke here, but Baron will stop everybody. Carnelian would be down here providing that unyielding. Like I was saying, Baron's in front. Constant is for the healing, and then we have Praetus for all that extra damage, right? But if I didn't have them placed here, then, and if I wanted to use Ingrid up top in the back in Essential Keep, I'll show you kind of what I would do. Has a secondary option and not using the option that Corey was suggesting, right? So we'll go ahead, we'll pick everybody up. Now, I don't want to like switch out all my units and stuff. Right, but where I put Ingrid right here, that is where Garnet Guards are going to hit. That's where Archers are going to hit right off the bat, where Ingrid is right now, right? So Baron will be placed
in front of Ingrid right here on that first tile, facing that way, obviously. Or if you have a Cyrus, you can face him straight up, right? That's a good spot. However, while we're here, since we're doing this anyway, so imagine that choke point. We could have a choke point here, right? Instead of moving Ingrid, I wonder if there's a way to use Ingrid in this lane right here, coming down Carnelian or Lily, provide that extra unyielding. Because Garner Guards would hit Ingrid first. And then if you built like another tank for damage, right? So if they ever have a damage dealing tank, or if you can find the gear to build a strong damage dealing tank where Constance is, and that'll provide that choke point also. Because in that setup, you're only worried about Garnet guards, and they're only hitting right here when they first come down, right? Then they'll target Praetus, and then they'll take a crack at Carnelian in that position. But if you had that tank, a damage dealing tank right there, they would get 1 or 2 shots off and then start focusing on that tank, and they'd have enough HP 9 times out of 10 to survive. That's an idea. But anyway, so we moved Ingrid right. She's in her normal position for this team, probably the best spot up there at the top, way out of harm's way. And then you can kind of play around with the units right here. As long as you have a tank where Brokir is, none shall pass. At least easily, right? However, there's also something else we could try to do, right? So like I was saying, you could use that platform right where I'm moving Constance at. But let's say you have another platform unit right up here. I can't place Constance there. So I'll put Ingrid there instead. But then that would provide all that damage, and not Brokir, but Baron would be your tank. And if you had like a good platform unit right here, could go down. And Constance could heal him. If Garnet guards take a crack at Ingrid or Pope or somebody that's up there, right? They just have to have some HP. At least in my team, because I have Constance. So, hopefully everybody enjoyed team testing with EO. I'm the guy out.